So, I-225. Look at it. It's beautiful. You know, I don't want to take off yet. Let me just go ahead and try to... Oh no. Oh no. No, 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 no. Stop, 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 stop! Oh, I didn't die this time. That's a first. Yeah, Gaijin. That was like half a second of braking. And I flipped from that. That's not normal. Oh, you know what else isn't normal? The fact that some allied aircraft in this test drive keep spawning in the ground and exploding instantly. Yeah, that's not normal. That's definitely not normal. The fire effects are nice, but that's not good. Right? Oh, and most of the time whenever you brake like that, if your cockpit automatically is open because that's just, you know, because that's how it is set up to be, your pilot will die instantly from the plane flipping over. At that time, I was lucky enough to have the cockpit be closed before it flipped over, because otherwise it would have been death, and I can demonstrate that again. But as you can see, those Allied fighters are supposed to be escorting these L2s. They're gone. They're dead right over there. That's 2 smokestacks right there. And furthermore, another thing that happened from you guys adjusting this thing's damage model, that bugged its flight model, because, you know, I don't know how you guys can manage to do this so often, but you always seem to do this. And I know it's not on purpose, but you guys really need to, like, test out each and every vehicle that you guys make adjustments to make sure that these kinds of problems do not continue to surface. But, as you can see, I'm going to pull a combat maneuver right now. An Immelman turn, going downwards. Well, technically split S. And, yeah. So that's normal, right? But, if you manage to exceed 600 kph in maneuvers like that, and I'll do another split S, but this time I'll go a bit higher before I started, to demonstrate that, because I almost broke 600 kph there, but luckily I didn't. So, in split S's, just even sometimes just general, like, barrel rolls to dodge enemy fire, if you're going fast enough already, your plane will literally have an epiphany and decide, I'm gonna give up real quick and, you know, die. So, look, okay, this is 650, this is normal, right? Normal lockup. But this is 600. And yeah, As you could see there, I only reached 650 at the very end. When I was going between 600 and 650, the plane did not wish to actually work properly. The elevators just gave up, basically. That's not normal, right? You know what else isn't normal? Oh! Well, that's lucky. I mean, I had another go at this, but the recording got messed up and didn't actually save properly. But, yeah, okay, so I guess it's kind of random chance whether or not your pilot will just die from this. But the fact that the plane gives up, well, the fact that the plane gives up when pulling those kinds of maneuvers, and that happens from just braking, definitely not normal. No other plane does it. Furthermore, another weird thing that no other plane does in this game is, so let's lower the throttle to 0. Right? And look, we're still gaining speed. Nope. So, couple the fact that the plane continues to try and gain speed, even at 0% throttle, and the brake problem. It's basically a double whammy, which will force people to have flips and dips and crashes. Like, look at this. I'm literally gaining speed after being at 3 kilometers an hour. Not normal. This plane did not do this in the previous update. When you guys adjusted its flight model in the previous update, it was pretty much fine. A bit wonky with the rudder, which is actually better now and is more predictable instead of with the instructor causing the plane to do like double rolls, which aren't even barrel rolls. They're kind of more like I don't know. They're kind of like barrel rolls, but not at the same time, and it looks really weird. I mean, I guess I can demonstrate it, but it's like it was really bad in the last update, right? But that was something that could be avoided just by not doing too much with your rudder, like just holding it for a little bit, right? And it was the same thing with braking. But as you can see here, here's what it looks like now. Much better. Much better. Much more controllable. Doesn't cause the plane to have a freak out. Like, really doesn't. And with takeoff flaps on, what's a pretty easy thing to do is to roll over with that, with the ailerons and the rudder, right? And then use the elevator when you have those flaps on to pull yourself down so that you can roll over a lot faster, to where you're actually even rolling faster than the Focke-Wulf 190, which is nice. But it's very high skill. You have to be very careful with that, right? And that's good. I like that. But everything else that I have shown is not good and definitely needs to be fixed. That bug with the AI doesn't really need to be fixed immediately, but it'd be nice if it could be fixed. But like, look at this. I can't even I can't even slow down enough properly without overshooting the runway, despite landing at the beginning of the runway because of these brakes. And there's that death crash I was talking about. So yeah, it's not good. If you could please get on fixing this problem, that'd be very, very nice, because this is just, it's not good. Like, this is really bad. And it made this plane go from being challenging to use and play to being impossible to use and play. Every time I've used it, I haven't been able to get a single kill over the course of 6 or 7 matches, because my plane will lock up at high speeds, going in a straight line basically, and then I die to somebody who I started out either on their 6 or pulling into their 6 because of a brick lockup that made no sense. And furthermore, there are no mentions of any of these kinds of changes if these are supposed to be the actual, like, characteristics of this plane, which doesn't really make sense for a good chunk of stuff, but okay. There's no mention of it in the changelog whatsoever, despite many mentions in previous changelogs about this thing's flight model updates. So that's why I think this is a bug. If this isn't a bug, then I'd like to know why exactly the landing gear situation in particular is not a bug, because that is insanely bad. Insanely bad. Like, that is just, no. Like, that is really bad. Because that's not even something remotely normal for an aircraft to do. And that's why I want it fixed, because it's not something that anyone's going to be able to get used to. At all. You're not going to get used to something like that. With the lockup, yeah, you can kind of get used to it. I mean, the I-185 exists, and it kind of has the same problem, but it's not as bad as this, because at least with the I-185, once you get out of that speed threshold, you can immediately pull up with like all the force you need. With the I-225, once you get out of that speed threshold, you're still pulling up with not as much force as you'd be able to if you were going a bit slower. And one of them is still playable, and the other one is definitely not, so yeah. Definitely needs some tweaking and fixing, because there's so much here that makes no sense, and I'd really love to see this plane get properly fixed. And if you guys could please adjust the lockup, right, its proper lockup speed, to be 680 kilometers an hour like it used to be and normally is, instead of 600 or kind of 650 but not really 650, that would be very nice, because the way it locks up at speeds where you normally operate at, even with yaks, that's not right at all. Considering the fact that this is basically the super yak in terms of like its flight characteristics. Sure, it doesn't have the best maneuverability, but its actual engine power and speed makes it basically a yak on steroids, right? A tech tree version of the yak on steroids. Which is nice, I will add. The fact that it can't actually go fast without killing itself in most engagements is definitely not a good thing. It's really not a good thing. So, yeah, I just really want this plane to be fixed. Because these are game-breaking bugs for this aircraft, currently, that are on it. And it makes the experience excruciatingly painful. And flying Russian aircraft is already excruciatingly painful as it is. But this just turns up the level of pain to 15, from 10 to 15. So, yeah. This plane could really use some fixes there. So, yeah. Please fix this, Gaijin. Please. Thank you for, if you did actually watch all of it. Thank you. Because this is just, I don't know, it's just kind of like soul crushing, especially considering how much SL I lost trying to use it. And I thought it was just me at first, and then I kept having the same exact problems non-stop. And it made me realize it wasn't just me. Or maybe it is a client-side bug. I don't know. If it is a client-side bug, then I'll just uninstall the game and reinstall it, you know? But if you guys can replicate this bug on your own, then please fix it. And yeah, that's it. You'll go it out.